Welcome to the 1 Minute Apologist. We interview the world's leading apologists to provide credible answers to curious questions.
What investigative principle does every Christian need?
There's tons of different things you learn as a cold case detective, but probably the one foundational thing you got to begin with is you can't walk into crime scenes with a presupposition about who your suspect's going to be. And that's happened to me before, where I've actually walked into a crime scene and had the senior investigator, who knows a lot more than me, tell me, no, I've been here before, son. I know exactly what kind of a murderer this is going to be. We need to look for X, whatever X is, and he's basing it on what he thinks he sees at the crime scene. And it turns out, on this particular case, he was so sure that this suspect was going to be a boyfriend or a husband that we spent about a week looking for the love interests of the victim, when in fact it wasn't a boyfriend or husband, it wasn't anybody she knew, it was actually the next door neighbor. Now, interestingly, every piece of evidence we saw in the room, he found a way to interpret it through his lens, his presupposition that this was going to be a boyfriend or a husband. Now, I think something similar happens to us, for me at least, as a non-believer. Something very similar happened as I looked at the evidence for Christianity. I began with a presupposition about naturalism, and I rejected up front any explanation that might be supernatural, like God. But if I begin with that presupposition, I can't really ever get to the clear answer, especially if my question to begin with is, does anything supernatural exist? I can't begin by denying the supernatural. So the first, I think, most important investigative tool we start with is don't be a know-it-all. Don't think you know in advance of your investigation what the answer is going to be. Let the evidence tell you how to get there.
Thanks, John.